Welcome everybody to VSN's Friday Night Football. With me today is, as always, my partner, Ron Rubio here. We've had a great week so far, and we wish to continue it tomorrow. We're going to have some athletes tomorrow. I think we're going to start off with the kid out of Central graduate, Ron, out of Pueblo, Colorado Pueblo on Saturday, and that'll be at 12 o'clock noon.
Joseph Tarango.
Yeah, Tarango. And then we're going to go with Casey Klein after that, and then Nico Aguirre. So we've had a great time. Ron and I have had a great time, and hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves. And I think tonight is the big night. Tonight is the heavyweight night, guys. We got some great people on here. We plan to have a good time. We're going to have a little bit of fun with them. You're going to get to know some of these coaches' personality. They're going to come out of their little bubble. They're wound up. They're ready to play some football, Ron. Am I correct? That's the feeling we're getting, right, Ron?
Everybody's ready to go, just like Coach Haynes said last night. We can't wait for that grass to be mowed, watered, and let's rock and roll with some football. That's what we're waiting for. Good lineup tonight.
Yeah, we've got a great lineup. In fact, right after Ron and I talk a little bit about this week we had, we're going to talk about the teams and the coaches we had. We're going to start with John Seaman. John Seaman's the head referee for the Football Association here in Imperial Valley, and he also does a little side gig going to the junior college, getting some work in down there to improve his game. And then after we have John Seaman on, we're going to go with Ryan Childers. Ryan Childers is a Central Unified School District board member. He's going to give us he's also a Southwest grad. He's going to give us a little input on what it is to be a board member and be involved in the sports side of it from an athlete that, during his playing days from Southwest, Ron. And then after Ryan Childers, we added somebody up to the lineup that we thought deserved it. He's starting out new, Central Union High School, got a new AD, replacing the great, Sandy. Replacing her. She's going to retire June 3rd. And Josh Wise was picked out of plenty of applicants, I'm sure, Ron, because that was one of the key positions to be filled that a lot of people that I'm sure applied for that job. So after we have Josh Wise on there, we're going to go with Central head coach from Spartans, El Centro, Mr. Rookie Peña. He's going to give us a little bit of insight, what's going on, what's he been doing, what kind of class he has coming back, some of the kids that graduated, and he's got some information. It's already been out there, but we want to talk about it a little bit more. There's a little bit of schedule change on his part that's really interesting. It's really, hope after the El Paso last year, they got him back on their schedule again this year. I hope it creates something, Ronnie, because I really did like that Texas-California rivalry and that they call it. But it's one of those friendly rivals, but it's always good to have, Ron.
Yeah, it's good that our local teams are getting into that. I mean, several teams have been doing it from the state, the big schools, California versus Florida. And this is our little taste of it for the Valley. I think Ricky opened the door for it. And I think hopefully our other schools jump on the bandwagon. Let's see if we can get some more matchups, bro. How about California versus Arizona, Utah, somebody like that? It'd be great. Great football, good football.
I'm really into that. Of course, COVID-19 put a little wrinkle into it. But as we've always have been here, and not only in Imperial Valley, California, United States, but we adapt, and we should adapt well. So we'll be okay with that. And then after that, we do have a situation that we knew previously. We knew about this. Coach John Self is he's a representative for the Imperial Valley coaches, of course, from Imperial Valley. So he has a meeting that started at 6 p.m. If we have time, or well, not if we have time, if Coach Self has time, he will reach out to us and we will try to get him in as soon as possible, as soon as he's done with this meeting. It's one of those meetings, it's a CIF meeting, and there's some, we're going to have some information. Hopefully we have some information that we can pass along. That's why it's important for Coach Self to be there, and he's going to do his best. But if something happens that the meeting goes on, because it's with all the coaches in the San Diego section, Ron. So if something goes on where that meeting is prolonged, Coach Self will be on the air tomorrow at 12:45, and we'll post it again to let everybody know. But talking to Coach Self today, he did he was going to do his best to be on here at 8 o'clock. And that's the only schedule change we have besides adding Josh Wise and Ryan Childers. So as I started the evening off, I mentioned how we've had a great time, talking to these coaches. We got a chance to talk to the Palo Verde coach, Coach Wally, and then we even talked to Coach Bernard down at Mountain Empire. And one of the things that my partner Ronnie does good, he can dissect the football team. He can look at it. I mean, this guy, I can ask him during the game and then after the game, Ron, what do you think about this? This guy breaks down every play, the formations, the players. The guy's got the knowledge. That's why he makes this broadcast the way it is. And he does a great job doing it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask Ron what's the guest we had this week, and he's going to give me his opinion of what he thinks, not so much how the team's going to do, Ron, as we were talking earlier, but what we felt out of our conversation and interviews with them. So let's start right off with Coach Van Bernard from Mountain Empire. Ron, what were your thoughts on his program and himself?
Well, thanks for the kind words, Will. But about on the situation for Coach Van at Mount Empire is they had a tough season last year. They were 2-8. They got beat up. They played with young teams. They had young kids, a lot of sophomores. I think he only had maybe 4 or 5 seniors playing. So they took their beating. They took their lumps. During last season. They had quite a few blowouts. But with Coach Van's attitude, his work ethic, he's going to turn the corner this year. It's still going to be a rebuilding year. I don't think they're going to be out there scaring people to death, but I think they learned their lesson. Those sophomores that he had last year are going to be juniors, and the juniors he had, of course, going to be seniors. But with that experience they had last year, they should be a tougher team. Tough to say because they're in a tough league. They got Holtville. They have who else? Vincent Memorial and Palo Verde coming in.
Yeah.
So they still have a mountain to climb, but they have the right coach doing it.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump over to Holtville, ranked #1 in his division right now. Coach Jason Turner. It's Turner time right now in Holtville, city of Holtville. It's Turner time. He's paid his dues. What about Turner there, Ron?
Turner time is a good little saying there. Why? Because Turner's had these kids since I think he was telling us 6th, 7th, or 8th grade. He's kind of brought this group up. Now he has them. They've been in his system 4 years. There aren't any more of the last regime, which was Coach Smith. They're not left over. These are all Turner's kids. The seniors are coming in, pure Turner products. They were kids that were brought up the way Turner wanted things to run. So his system is up and running, Will. This is kind of like saying the table's set, the Thanksgiving dinner, the cooking's done. Now the spread's on the table. Let's feast. So that's his action. He's got returners, the players. He's got a quarterback. He's got a running back. It's a good time to be Jason Turner and the Holtville Vikings.
Good program, man. So we wish Turner the best of luck, man. It's Turner time. Now, we have no insight, of who's going to get the job in Calexico, but both Ron and I had a good feeling about Coach Castro. Ron, what's your thoughts on that?
The deal is, in the situation and the time frame that Calexico's in, and with the COVID, they may have a little bit more time. But right now, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. They don't have a coach. June 1st is coming around. That's what John Moreno said. They're going to make a decision on it. Ruben is a very good candidate. I think he should be the lead. If they're looking for a fix and a guy that wants to do things the Calexico way, that's their man. I mean, I don't know of any other applicants that are applying for it. I did hear a rumor the other day that Kerry Laguerra is a possible candidate. We don't know. That's just hearsay. But Ruben is a very good candidate. He has a rapport with the kids already. He already has an idea of what he wants from the kids, and that's a start, man. And if the kids believe in that, then they have the success is on their way. Not that it's going to happen right away. Calexico has a long road to climb, brother. They have a long road to travel, and Ruben knows it. He's the kind of guy that's going to put the work in. So I'm pushing for him. I hope they hire him.
Yeah, good insight there, Coach. Coach Wally Grant, Palo Verde. Good things are coming his way, Ron. He's moving to a different league, and he's also got a young and athletic team coming in.
Well, you know what, Will? All these teams that we've talked about, they're in different stages of rebuilding. Turner, of all four, that's not even rebuilding. That cat's ready to go. That thing's ready to fly. Van and Mount Empire, a little bit different story. He still has a lot of youth. Calexico doesn't even have a coach. Grant, on the other hand, he's jumping into a different league now. He's not with the big boys in the IVL, Imperial Valley League, but he's also jumping into a league that has tough teams. Vincent Memorial. Who else? Vincent Memorial, Holtville. He's already played those teams. Those teams have already beat him. He's seen his opponents in that league already. Good thing, like you said, they had a very good Frost Soft team last year. So that's a plus. They already have some future being built. That sophomore class, now that they're juniors, those juniors that are seniors now, let's see what his program's going to do in his second year. Hey, he's got a better shot now than being in the IVL. Going to the Desert League, he has a better shot. And all these coaches, all these hires, good, positive coaches. So that's a good start right there.
All right, let's jump over to the Imperial Valley League now. Let's talk about Coach John Haynes at Southwest, his sophomore year, Ron. Now, I was unaware that you barely met him yesterday. I had the privilege of having to talk to him, very few times, but very positive, go-getter. A lot of positive to him, lots of positive. I believe personally he's at the right school at the right time.
Haynes has a lot of things going for him. Number one, it's him. I spoke with him, like I said towards the end of our interview, I wanted to put some shoulder pads on and a helmet and run through this wall I see right here. Why? Because he has it. He talks like a coach. He acts like a coach. The kids are going to buy into that. He's got a lot going for him. He had a lengthy resume. He's been all over the place. And so his knowledge and playing the style of football that he wants to play on the offensive side, very attractive to a lot of kids. He wants to run as many plays as he can, 80, 90 plays, whatever. He wants to go, go, go. And, hey, dude, to do that kind of stuff, you need the enthusiasm. He has it. Southwest, a sleeping giant right now.
Yeah, good to hear, Ron. Now, let's jump over to Imperial now. Now, we might call him the new head coach at Imperial, but he's got a lot of experience underneath his belt. That's Coach David Shaw, Ron.
Right, David Shaw. Okay, well let's go by some numbers real quick before we go on. The IVL is now a 4-man team apparently. John Self is the dean of all these coaches. He's been there 100 years at Brawley High. Rookie. He's going on his 4th year. John Haynes, year 2. Shaw is the baby. He's the first-year player. He's a first-year coach, but he's not really the first-year coach. On paper, he is. He knows the IVL. He knows these players. He knows what he wants to do. He's another guy. He's another cat just like Haynes. He wants to throw the ball. He told us he wants to throw. Both of these guys confess to having ADHD or something like that. That's the ADHD offense. Spread, hike the ball, throw the ball, huddle up, let's go. David Shaw's the guy to do it, man. So it's going to be exciting. Right now we have 3 teams in the IVL that want to just get the ball on offense and go, 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 in a manner. So it's going to be interesting. David Shaw is a great hire. I asked Victor Cruz, was he the right guy? I kind of misworded my question. I knew he was the right guy in my heart, but I kind of misworded that. And Victor Cruz stood up and said, yes, he was the right guy, and he was. He's the perfect fit for Imperial. And all good things. They will. If everybody in the league, the IBO gets better, it's great. It's great football. That means on every Friday night, on league night, Friday night, anybody could win. That's all you can ask for, competitions.
That'd be super nice when it doesn't matter where you go in Imperial Valley. If they're playing within each other in league, at any given time or any given Friday night, that other team can actually
knock you off.
That's what makes high school at Imperial Valley High School so exciting. All right, let's jump over to a program pretty well. Let's jump over to Coach Self now. We're going to interview him, of course, later on tonight, and he's going to hopefully – we don't know what kind of information he has. We know he's in a meeting at 6 o'clock, but Ron, what's your insight on that?
Well, we have a lot of seniors leaving. The if I get into details of where we're losing where Brawley's losing a lot of players, we'll get into that later, some other conversation, maybe with Coach. But the good news is the good that's leaving is being replaced by a lot of youth that's coming in. We have a lot of hopes. There's a lot of hope, and that our freshman class or now sophomore class is going to kind of fill that void in certain areas. We have our senior class looks pretty good. Our junior class is kind of in the middle of the road. If we get some of the kids to come out that we think that should be coming out, I think Brawl's going to be okay. Like I said, it's always the thing is about high school football. If you can replace what leaves, then your system as well. So you're just hoping, and I know John's probably thinking the same thing. Hey man, I hope I can fill the holes that are being left by my senior class that just took off. So barring injury, we have some really good kids. I don't want to throw out names, but Ethan Gutierrez, freshman, I don't know when the IBL last saw a kid come in as a freshman and play like a senior. I really don't. I mean,
De Niro.
Did he play as a freshman? Well,
no, he didn't play as a freshman, but yeah.
But I am still amazed at that story of last year. It has to be the story of 2019 because, hey man, I know me. I couldn't play varsity football as a freshman. Come on, man. There would be no way I'd want to play varsity football as a freshman. So my hat's off to that kid. So other than that, I think things look really bright for Brawley football. That's my opinion.
Okay, so we got John Seaman in the waiting room right now. We wanted to go over this because we wanted to go over a little bit, and I didn't leave out Coach David Benya. We're going to have him on tonight, so we'll touch the same thing on him. So VSN will be right back after this break with John Seaman. Welcome back, everybody, to VSN's Friday night, where we have the heavyweight guys in here, and I truly do mean the heavyweight guys here, including myself, John. Listen, with us tonight is John Seaman. He's, in my opinion, one of the best referees to ever come out of Imperial Valley. I mean, I could mention a couple of names. You have a lot of Lynn Snickers, a lot of Mike Kings, and a lot of Vern Clovers, and we can go on and on. But John, I believe you rank right with them up there in top because your dedication. So without further, this is John Seaman. He's one of the officials. It's his 26th year officiating Imperial Valley football. He's also one of the main guys when it comes down to playoff time. Correct, John?
Yes. Yeah, it is because we've built a relationship with San Diego. So playoff times, I'm always right in the middle of things.
And I want to talk about that a little bit further, how the crew is chosen on that. But let's jump into something else real quick. One of the other things, John, besides doing high school, you'd ventured out into the college level, and you've been doing this for 3 years now.
Right.
John, how's that been going?
Oh, it's great. I've learned a lot. I've got a lot of good contacts. I've met a lot of D1 officials, NFL officials, up and down the state. I've made a lot of new friends, a lot of good contacts, a lot of good on-field training. It's really good, and I try to take it back to the association and give them what I've learned and try to take it back to them. And I think it's working.
Well, one of the good things of having you on here, I would like the public to know when, and it doesn't always have to be the bell game. I mean, it could always be the Imperial Central game or even the Fireman's Helmet between Imperial and Southwest. But I know that the fans, and I definitely know that the coaches always want the best crew available. What's the process that goes into that? I mean, I kind of know what it is, but it might have changed since I've been gone a couple of years. Can you explain that to us, John, how that goes about?
Yeah, usually we'll sit down, and when we get into league, we always want to give the best crews to the bigger games. And, you know, we all think they're all the big games, but it'd be usually Alan, who's our signer, Gene, who's our president, me, Benny, Mike Garcia. We'll sit down and we'll decide who should go where. It's, you know, we try to take into consideration records and things of that nature, but we try to make sure we got the best crews out there at the best time. We don't want to send crews that are too weak, because then it's going to just make us look bad, and then it's a train wreck waiting to happen. So what we do is we sit down and we discuss who needs to go there. So there's a lot of discussion that goes into that. Well,
I know for a fact, and if there's any referee out there that thinks he's never made a mistake, you're in the wrong business. So things are going to happen. How are some of the ways that are handled that way? What does a coach go through that, let's say a coach thinks it's a bad call, and let's say it's not a judgment call, or, you know, use both of them, use a judgment call and a rules call. What's the process that a coach goes through? Like, there is no protest in high school. Let's clear that out right now. You cannot protest over a call, a football game, correct, John?
No, I mean, you can complain all you want, and a lot of times you just tell me that they're going to send me the film. And when they do send me the film, they've got some good evidence. When they don't send me the film, it's implied that we got it right. So it goes both ways. Look, stuff's happening really fast. You've got 22 bodies flying around at one time. You got 5 officials on a varsity game trying to catch all this action, and we're not going to catch everything, and that's just a given. The philosophy is, if it doesn't affect the play, then we're pretty much going to stay away from it. Unless it's a safety issue, unless you got something on the back end of the play where somebody comes in and gives a cheap shot, then we're going to throw it. But if you have a hold in on the backside of the play and it doesn't have an effect on the play, and doesn't affect how the runner got free, we're going to stay away from that.
You know, I'm a big believer in that. There's no, you know, unless you said it's a personal foul or a flagrant foul, I'm a big believer in that. If it didn't affect the play, John, and that philosophy was put in a couple of years ago, and I think that's the right way to go. I know that Coover, which is the head of the officials in San Diego, has come down and has given a couple of meetings, and he's one of those energetic guys that just tells it like it is. He wants that game to go, John. He just wants it to go. Look, nobody's there to see the referees, John.
Absolutely.
You know, they're there to see the kids. If they don't know your name by the end of the night, that was probably the best game you probably ever refereed.
Right, and that's Coover's philosophy. Just so you know, Coover's a state of California rules interpreter. So I've been very lucky to build a good relationship with him and a rapport where I can call him anytime I have questions. But yeah, that's the philosophy. And a lot of people in the stands don't understand that. They're going to see, maybe they're watching their kid who's the left tackle, but the play goes around to the right side, and they see that their kid gets held, and they want to know why we didn't throw the flag. Well, if it didn't have an effect on the play, we're not going to throw it. We understand fans are upset at us because we didn't throw these flags or whatever, but there's a reason why. Now, granted, sometimes we do miss it, or sometimes it's close at the point of attack, but it's bang, bang. You know, we're going to let those go. But for the most part, we want to let the kids play. We're not out there to throw flags. And like I said, if they don't even know we're there all night long, we did a great job.
Yeah. Well, I do got to hand it to you, to the association. It's good to see that when the playoffs come around, you guys had the privilege and the honor to do some of the finals games. I know in D5 a couple of years ago you guys did some. And so what are some of the games that you guys done the finals in? And it's not always now this is the part that I don't like, John, but it's just my own personal opinion. I don't like the split crew doing a playoff game because sometimes there's a mesh that you got with your own crew. I like that whole crew going over. You know, that's just my own personal opinion about that.
Right, no, and I understand. So this has been a work in progress. This has started back when James Haley was our president and was in the association. So it was me, Haley, and Alan Phillips. We got together. We got in a meeting with Coover. And this was as a result of Coach Smith, who used to coach Hopeville. They were getting into the playoffs, and when they get to San Diego, they never saw any of our officials. So he actually voiced his concern to Coover. How come no IV officials are coming and doing these games? So that's how the process got started. So it's been a long process, 10, 12 years we've been doing this. So we finally have got in there. So when we first got in there, we were given an opportunity to do a D4 semifinal and then a D5 championship game. And it was a full crew from the Imperial Valley. And then we've been in negotiation. We've tweaked it around a little bit. Sometimes it's half a crew from Imperial Valley, half a crew from San Diego. And then the most recent change that we made this year was if a Valley team makes it to the championship game, if it's, let's say it's like last year, it could have been Central versus Brawley technically in the championship game. That would have been an all IB crew. Okay. So now we've come into agreement with San Diego. So now if it was just Central and whoever, La Jolla, then we would have had half a crew there.
Okay.
And vice versa. So now we're trying to make it where it's even so that when this the Valley teams go up there and they get to the championship game, because when Southwest made it, Central made it, there was a full San Diego crew. Not one IB official was out there. So people were asking, why are not the IB officials out there helping out with this? And we're like, that's a good question. So we started negotiations with San Diego, with Coover, and so we've kind of tweaked it out. So if a San Diego team or else Imperial Valley team doesn't make it, then we're not going to go do any games. So we're trying to make it fair so that when a IB team does make it to the finals, they'll at least see some familiar faces on the field and don't think that they're automatically being homered or nothing. Does that make sense? Yeah, no,
to me it makes sense. And I think the best explanation was where if you have a Valley team and you have in the finals and you have a team from San Diego section, half that crew will be from Imperial Valley's Referees Association.
Correct. And so one other thing is, so we also got an agreement with them. So all playoff games that take place in the Valley, we call it our home, in our backyard, we're going to take care of it. The IB Football Association will take care of it. Doesn't matter if it's a San Diego team or they're ranked, whatever. If any playoff games here all the way up to the semifinals, we will take care of no matter what division, whether it's open, D1, all the way down to D5. But once they go to San Diego, up until the semifinals, the San Diego crews will take care of it. And any teams from the Valley that make it to any finals, regardless of what division, you will see officials from the Valley on the field during that game.
I like the way the association is going. Everything's good. There's been a shortage of referees. Is that still going on, John?
Yeah, no. Mike Garcia was last year. He had actually put together some flyers, and I know him and Benny Carter and Gene Martin and Nate Binkins and a couple others, they were actually going out and giving flyers to different events that they went to. So right now it's basically like word of mouth. John Moreno from John and Vic, he actually referred a guy to me one time who hopefully I'll get a new official this year. So right now it's word of mouth. We're also in conjunction, it's called a program called with the NFL Battlefields to Ball Fields. And what it does is it brings veterans who are coming home from the war or whenever they're retiring or whatever, they can contact the NFL, tell them where they live, whatever geographical area they're in, and then they put them in contact with us. So we've had a couple guys in our association who are from that Battlefields to Ball Fields, and they've worked out really good. I've actually spoken with Mike Pierre several times about the program. He always calls and checks on it, how his guy's doing and things of that nature. So, I've had an opportunity to speak to, one of the head guys from the NFL about this program. So it's working. It's hard. The guys, the older guys that we get from the Battlefields to Ball Fields are sticking around because they can put up with the abuse. The younger guys we get, and Ronnie, as recently, it's terrible. We get these young kids in, and we're lucky to keep them a year. They take a beating out there from the parents and the coaches, and they just don't like it. And that's how come we can't retain younger officials, because of the abuse that they take, basically. Right. It's so bad that we try to bring them up from the lower levels, and we'll put them on youth football, and every youth football game has a varsity rated white hat. It's usually Gene Martin or Benny Carter or JJ or whoever. But the problem is, and I've been there and I've seen it, is parents are rude and they're mean, and they will actually follow the officials to where they take a break at halftime and sit there and spend the 15 minutes yelling at them, telling them what a horrible job they did and giving them some other choice words. Who wants to come out and do that? That's why it's so hard to retain officials.
Yeah, well,
Hey, I'm going to jump in on that, and that's the truth. That's the thing. I started 3-4 years ago, and I couldn't believe, let's say, the attitude and the approach some of the youth sport coaches have and the youth sport parents have. I honestly think they shouldn't even have this kind of sport sometimes in certain locations, because it seems like the league is for the parents. They should just let the kids play. And that is what John said. It is true. With the young guys coming in, the new referees, there's always a constant, hey, how do I handle this guy? And there's certain key phrases that they teach us in the officials meetings to give the coaches, to give to somebody that's giving you a hard time. And believe it or not, some of these phrases work, coach. I didn't see that. I'll keep my eye on that. But sometimes these phrases don't work. And as John said, the confrontation that we do see on the sidelines, it's not good for the sport, and it's not good for officiating.
It's not good for anybody.
Look, I'm going to tell you what, some of these parents should be ashamed of themselves. I've been out there doing these games where Gene Martin and Benny Carter and JJ have been out there, and I have heard some of the racial slurs come out of the stands, and it's just absolutely embarrassing and uncalled for. But I will tell you this. I was there one time when someone yelled some racial slurs, and I like the way Gene Martin handled it. He stopped the game, and he went over to the visitor side, and he said, whoever said that needs to leave right now. Of course, nobody got up and left. Nobody said anything, blah, blah, blah. And Gene said, okay, look, I'm going to give you one more chance. If the person who made that racial slur mark doesn't get up and leave, everybody in the stadium, I'm clearing them out. And you're all going to leave, and you're going to have to watch the game from the Southwest parking lot. You know what happened? All the parents turned on that guy and said, get out, and we got rid of him. Yep. But you see, we have the ability to do that in youth football. We don't have those issues in high school. We've got ADs. The head coaches even step in and take care of it. It's just at the youth level, and it's uncalled for where they're starting to call our officials racial slurs in front of their kids, and it's embarrassing. They should be ashamed of themselves. But I like the way Gene handled that one, because he gave them 2 chances, and if they didn't do it, he was going to clear out the whole stadium, and nobody else wanted that.
Well, hell, I'd be the first guy pointing them out.
Yeah.
Well, just Ron, I think you've been with me sometimes when I've had conversations. We're at a Brawling game, and John was him and his crew. Of course, I can't say him and his crew without mentioning Alan Phillips. He's just it's Batman and Robin right there, with those 2 guys. They got a good vibe going between John Seaman and Alan Phillips. So truly great referee and a great person. But Ronnie's been there. Like, me and John Seaman, I actually question, and I don't go at him questioning, why the heck did you do it? I actually question for an explanation on the call. And there's absolutely, John's the first guy that will give you an explanation. We're not there to argue. Okay, now I see what happened, because he sees the whole picture. Where, sometimes we only see the end of the play. It's like they say, the second guy throwing that hit's the one that gets caught all the time, So John's very good. I know he's been very good to me, and when we've relayed and communicated on certain plays and on certain calls. So I appreciate that, John.
No, and anytime. And I'm always welcome to sit down with the coaches. And I think I built a pretty good rapport with the Valley coaches, where we can look at film, and they have my number. They can call me. If they have a question on a call, sometimes they'll call me and say, you know what, I apologize. You got it right, or you got it wrong. It doesn't matter. We're all going to learn here. It's a learning experience. And I guarantee you, I take whatever mistake we've learned, I take it back to the association, and I show them, hey, look, we can't do this. It's all learning experience, And I appreciate the feedback. I really do. And I'm glad that we've opened that line of communication with the local coaches to where they can do that. Now, we've even done that as far since I'm involved with Cougar, so that when the San Diego teams come down here, you have no idea how much we hear we're getting home, or we knew this was going to happen. And I'm like, you know what? If you have a problem, talk to Cougar, and Cougar will call me. And Cougar's called me before, but Cougar's called me to tell me what a great job the crew has done, not necessarily that we screwed anybody over. And so now we're building that relationship with the San Diego schools to make them feel more comfortable that when they come down here, they know that they're going to get a fairly efficient AV game just like they would in San Diego. Look, everything that is taught in San Diego, we're teaching here. And that's what they don't understand. They think they come down here and that we're doing some other type of mechanics. No, we're getting our same mechanics training, our same rules training. We actually use the San Diego officials rule book. Or their mechanics.
Exactly.
So we're doing everything like they do. So we can have more consistency so that when we do get to those playoff games, when we do have those mixed crews, we're all on the same page.
Hey, well, let me tell you something real quick. Well, let me interject. As a coach, when the Valley teams go up to San Diego, we say the same thing. Hey, we're getting homered over here by the San Diego schools. You know, it's on the flip side, no kidding. And you know what, John? That's human nature, man.
No, I
That's
agree.
human nature. You know, if you're winning, you could, hey, call whatever you want, you win. But when you're on the losing end of the stick and you start getting certain calls, yeah, you could feel that way. But let me interject real quick on becoming a referee. I mean, I did it, like I said, and what's really interesting, my two boys are doing it, Roman and Ross. And let me tell you, man, what it is about refereeing, you get a rule book, and everybody can interpret a certain rule differently. And what I've had the pleasure of doing with my kids is we see something in different ways. Hey, I read it this way. No, I see it this way, Dad. And the mechanics, let me tell the people out there, the mechanics John's just talking about is how you move on the field. Whatever certain part of the field you're responsible for, you have a certain way of physically doing the job. So your movement counts. So you got your movement, your eyes, and then your brain, your cerebral part kicks in. How do I interpret that penalty I just threw? So it's a lot of hard work. It's a noble profession. And, man, let me tell you, I said it before and I'll say it again. It's not made for everybody, and the people who do it it's a special breed of man to do it.
Yeah, no, he's right there.
No,
Thank you, John.
Trust me, he makes a valid point because Ron has actually seen it from all three sides.
Right.
Of course, they see it as a player, as a referee, and as a coach on the sidelines. So, you know, I mean, tell you what, man, being a referee made me a better person.
Right.
Helped me be a better coach. And I am, you know, my years, John, were just, they were a blast, you know. I mean, and it did make me a better person because I didn't want to be like that coach over there. I didn't want to be like that. So, you know, and from my side, John, I believe you guys are doing a great job. I appreciate the communication. And, if there's anything VSN can do, I know we're working on some stuff, some video, Dallin and stuff.
Good.
And for new rules and stuff. So just, you know, we stay in touch quite a bit, John and I. So we'll keep that moving forward and you know, anything we can do. And I'm sure, you know.
No, and this is great. This is good to get out to the community to know what's going on. Kind of touching on what Ronnie says, you know, someone may interpret a rule different. I guarantee you my interpretation of a hold is a lot different than what Gene or Benny's interpretation is. Because I'm a little bit more lenient. You almost have to tackle the guy before I call a hold, where some other guys may, you know, call it a little bit tighter than me. So, like I said, it goes back to I want to let the kids play. At the end of the day, we just want to let them play. Ron, correct me if I'm wrong. Whenever those kids are playing flag football and it's 110 degrees out there, you see them complaining? No, they're running around having the ball. It's the parents are the ones who are yelling and complaining. And remember, it's non-competitive. We're not supposed to keep score, but they're going to tell you we're ahead 3-2 or 4-2. Or here, who cares? You know what? Let them have fun. And that's what, at the end of the day, I don't care what level, from flag football all the way up to high school, we let them have fun. Let them play.
We appreciate that. And Ron and said it earlier as you did. It's a thankless job, John. You know, so. We appreciate you coming on. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. It was you got some heavy hitters for me to follow behind. You know, hopefully I held my own weight.
Set the tone. There you go, brother. You did good. You did good.
You did good, man. And we hope to continue this on a quarterly basis with other subjects, and we want you guys to be a part of it. So, you know, hoping that VSN just continues doing what we're doing and improving what we do, John.
Right on, man. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. You guys.
Thank you, John. Good seeing you. Be safe.
Have
a good day. We'll be right back. We're waiting for Ryan Childress on this. Thank you. welcome back, everybody, to VSN's Friday night heavyweight section, where we just finished up with John Seaman with the referees, Imperial Valley Referees Association, and joining us tonight with an addition to the lineup is Ryan Childers. Ryan Childers, welcome to the VSN tonight. Ron, with us is Ron Rubio up there. This is my co-host, my partner, my broadcasting sidekick, the man that knows it all. And if you had a chance to listen to our preview of the coaches that we had earlier, you can see why I call Ronnie my guy, man. The guy just has the knowledge for football, Ryan.
Lucky guy.
Yeah, thanks, Will, Ron, for having me on. It's good to be here with you. And got to watch the segment before and some of your other shows, and appreciate the great job you guys are doing promoting Valley sports.
Well, one of the reasons we have Ryan Childers with us today, when I was mentioning it to Coach Self earlier today, hey, I go, listen, we're going to fill in with Ryan Childers, and you know, I happened to, he goes, John Self right away, hey, listen, I know that guy. First of all, John Self has a memory of like an elephant. That guy remembers everything, man. So I go, he started telling me, as I was mentioning to you, Ryan, he was telling me on a certain play, I believe you started at Central Union High School, and then the first year of football, your sophomore year, you transferred over to Southwest. Is that correct?
Well, that's right. So actually my freshman year, I played for Central because there was no Southwest High School. And I came from a long line of Central athletes, Central football players, and I grew up, you know, admiring and dare I say my heroes were guys like Gene Martin, Gerald Robinson, Ty Bilderback, Hanky Dorner.
Wow.
Greats of the late 80s and early 90s. But when Southwest was going to open, I thought, wow, what a great opportunity to go and start a new tradition of our own somewhere. And so I decided to go over and play football at Southwest. So I was on their first football team.
Yeah, but that was your sophomore year, is that correct?
That's right, yep.
And so you played all your Pop Warner years. So that was during the days when you guys in Pop Warner, every level was full, right, Ryan?
Oh, yeah, it was totally full. In fact, my freshman year at Central, before the high school split, we had 100 kids come out in Hell Week, and we fielded two teams, an A team and a B team. So our A team would be playing somewhere, and our B team would be playing somewhere else.
Oh, you know, I recall that because I don't know if it was about the same timetable, but Brawley had that. They played there. We had to start scheduling games on Wednesday, Ronnie. Remember when the freshmen were so big? Right. And then they'd also be playing on Saturday mornings. And that was, can we go back to that? Those were like great times. We're thinking like, we're playing football on Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, and Saturday mornings, and then you got Pop Warner the rest of the day. You know,
yeah,
those
hard
were
to get better than that.
Yeah, no, those were definitely great times. So what the story that Coach Self was telling me, I'm telling you, the guy really does have a good memory. He, let's see if you recall this play. I'll tell you what, he does recall losing. The score was 3-0. Brawley ended up losing to Southwest, but he kind of chuckled when he said, well, we ended up beating Whoopinell Central's butt, so it kind of made a three-way tie for the signal for the titles of the league championship that year. But he mentioned a play where you were tackling, I think it was Kurt Rubin you had mentioned, and you somehow swung around and somebody's leg got broken or something during that play.
Oh, no.
Well, yeah. There were several goal line plays where Kurt Rubin had the ball and Brawley could have scored, where we managed to stop him a number of times. And there was a collision involved, and I actually wasn't the one that broke our star receiver's leg. That was our stud linebacker, Tim Petrie. But it all sprung off of a hard tackle close to the goal line and ended up hurting our best receiver, which was unfortunate. But yeah, I remember that game very, very clearly, 3-0, and the whole championship was on the line. And Southwest, prior to that, the first 2 years, this is my senior year, had my sophomore year, we only won one game. My sophomore year, my junior year rather, we won a few games. And so that senior year to have a shot at the league title was a big deal. And then to go up against Brawley with a bunch of kids that had grown up, you know, watching Central, feeling like we're going to play for Central. So beating Brawley was every bit as important to us as it was to Central players. And so, you know, to win that game 3-0, we would have liked to have won it by a bigger score, but we were happy to get the V no matter what. So,
well, Ron, actually with seconds ticking down, I don't know if it was third down or fourth down, but I believe whatever down it was, they had to gain 14 yards with second clicking, and if they made the first down, that would have been it. The 4 downs, Brawley had no more timeouts, and with 14 yards to go and you go for it, they gave the ball to old Ryan Childers. Explain to us what happened at the end of that play, Ryan.
Yeah, so fourth quarter, not much time left, 4th down, about 14 yards to go, and the coach moved me from tailback, where I traditionally played, over to halfback, and called what we called a 21 buck, which is basically a halfback sweep around the end. And I hadn't played that position, but sure enough, I line up there, and Brawley's defense starts calling out, "Childers is getting the ball. Childers is getting the ball." Not exactly what you want to hear.
No.
But came around that end and was able to make a move and find some open field. And the minute I crossed that first down marker, tears started coming down my eyes because I knew we'd won the game. And ended up getting 20-some yards, something like that, and got tackled. But it was the happiest tackle I'd ever had in my life, because it felt better than any touchdown I ever scored, I'll tell you that.
Now that is a great feeling, especially when you're beating those heavy hitters like in Brawley.
Right.
So one of the other things, Ronnie, that's interesting about Ryan, he was the first player selected in 2004, inducted into the Hall of Fame from Southwest. So and not only was he inducted, am I correct by saying that? You got to look on.
Well, I appreciate the promotion. I wasn't quite the first, but I was one of the first, the first couple there, and that felt good. Not quite first. That went to Tim Petrie, who was well deserved. Our 3 years of varsity, he was the MVP 2 years, and I was the MVP 1 year, and he was my co-captain all the way through. So he certainly deserved to be first.
Oh, but was he an upperclassman, or were you in the same grade?
We were in the same grade, yeah.
Oh, okay, but you guys got inducted the same years.
Separate years, but he went in
okay.
separate. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. I misunderstood you then.
Oh, that's all right.
No, that's one of those cool facts, and not only that, he comes with a lot of good pedigree there, Ron. He's the fourth member of his family to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Good job.
So, that's a pretty good lineup right there going into the Coaches Association Hall of Fame banquet. So congratulations on that, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Ryan, I want to interject real quick. Who was your head coach, your varsity head coach that year? Who was your head coach?
When we went out for Southwest football that first year, Joe Evangelist was lined up to be our head coach, and he ended up moving on to be the athletic director. And Jack Edinger came in as the head coach, and then Steve Evangelist was our defensive coordinator.
Okay, yeah, basically the old Central Spartan staff.
That's right. Yes.
Right. Well, good job. That's a good deal.
I think they were looking forward to building that new tradition too.
I bet. I think here in Brawley, there's been talk the last few years, a little bit chirping going on that they may build another school, and the community here, I don't think they buy into it. Like how could you divide a school? I mean, it would be just an odd feeling, but it's really cool that you were part of that transition. Here you are, a kid saying, "Hey, man, I want to start our own. Let's start our own tradition." Kudos to that move that you did. Sounds like it paid off for you.
Well, Ron, I've always joked that Brawley would build a high-rise before they built a new high school, because they got to see what it did to El Centro sports.
All right.
I mean, look at how many years was it up until Coach Pena came along that Brawley won the bell in a row? Was it 15 years or something? I mean, it was some incredibly long period of time. It really took 20 years for El Centro football to recover from the split of those schools.
Right.
When I got elected to the high school board, the high school had bought new property for a third high school out near Heber. And one of the things, I had the privilege of serving with Todd Evangelist on the board. And one of the things we both said is that we will fight tooth and nail to stop another school from being built because of what we saw it did to sports for El Centro. So Brawley's wise, if you're looking at it from just a sports perspective, to take that position, no doubt.
I mean, if they have the vote, and I can guarantee you that vote is not passing.
No. Yeah, that bond will not pass to come up with
that definitely can guarantee you that won't bond.
Well, there's a trailer park ready to go, ready to tear down for the high rise.
That's right. That's exactly where you're talking about.
Right on A Street. Eddie G, if you're listening, sell us that property.
And that's on the north side of Brawley right there.
Yes, it is.
I have to say, though, Ryan, I really wish Brawley would get that property, because one thing, we're not accustomed to it, but every time I walk on the field, I always I think about those things. The on-campus football field. I mean,
Right.
that's just like,
Right.
it's so really good. Now, let me tell you something. When I mentioned on campus, if you walk on to that Central Spartan Field, Cal Jones Field, as a player, as a referee, the stands are so close. It's because there's no track around the football field. So, the energy that the players and the coaches feel from, let's just say whether it's a Southwest City Championship or a Bell game or an Imperial, whoever it is, I mean, the fans are right on top of you. And let me tell you, I remember doing a Bell game, and I couldn't even communicate from a flank position to my umpire in the middle. We couldn't even communicate because they're just right on you. And then, you know what, you throw in that great Central Pride band, and it's just, forget it.
I get goosebumps thinking about it. You talk about, though, the importance of an on-campus football field. So at Southwest, those first 3 years, I never once played a football game on Southwest campus. And for our first 2 years, the first year we practiced at Neanza Elementary School, and the second year we practiced at those retention basins off of Lotus there in the Lewis Home subdivision. We would jog from the high school all the way down to those fields to have our practices. So I know firsthand what it's like to, play football out of a bag instead of a locker room.
So you're telling me you didn't get the opportunity to play at Eagles Field?
Nope, not one time.
Wow.
And part of that was because, building a high school is expensive, and people don't realize what bleachers cost.
No, exactly.
It's hundreds of thousands of dollars to put those bleachers in. And so luckily we had a very active booster club that was able to raise money. And I think, in the fourth or fifth year, they were able to put the bleachers in and then start hosting home games.
Now, Ryan is also president this year. He got elected in 2012, and he got reelected 2016 on the board. Now, one of the things I was asking him, he's actually, the board is actually in charge of both Southwest and Central.
Right.
So what's interesting about that is, how does athletics play a part when it communicates with the board and both those schools? Like, let's say, for example, Coach Pena comes up to you, hey, listen, I'm trying to hook up a game with Texas. How does that work out? How does the board come into play on that?
Well, I think that it'd be easy to overlook the role that the board plays, whether you're going to be a board that is supportive of athletics, a board that understands that sports is the kind of thing that for some students who are on the bubble and maybe not that interested in academics, it can be the thing that hooks them in and helps them get the grades they need and keeps them coming to school. So there's real value, even from an academic perspective, in what sports provides, to say nothing of the character that it builds and everything else.
Exactly.
So if you have a school board that is supportive of that and recognizes that, then what we do is we allocate resources, right? It's not infinite resources. You've got to decide where you're going to spend money. And so, when Coach Pena came to us about going to El Paso, which was certainly an outside the box thing, it would have been easy for a board to say, well, what about the insurance coverage and what about this or that, and come up with 100 reasons to say no. Now, Coach Pena was smart. He made it very easy. He got the other team to pay for the hotel rooms and everything else. Which next time I'm going to negotiate a settlement, I'm a lawyer.
There you go.
I think I'm going to call in Coach Pena. But so he did make it easy, but it would have been easy for a lot of boards to say no. And so I think, it's important when people are deciding who they're going to elect to the school board, that if they realize the importance of athletics, that they ask those questions and make sure that they've got school board members that understand what an important role athletics play in the system, and they'll be supportive of it.
Well,
great point.
That communication with the board and the schools like that is what makes, probably makes Rookie's job so much easier, and probably everybody else's job easy when you have that kind of support like that. And, and it's proven, and it's proven again this year when, you got El Paso coming to El Centro again this year, Coach.
Isn't that great?
Yes, I'm loving the way it's working out. I think it's good for the community. I think it's great for El Centro, and I just think it's one of those things that I think it's going to get the ball rolling in the and I know I don't conversation, but I know that Raleigh's in the works or something with there's some things going on. You know, the thing that was thrown at me was, don't be surprised if you see Brawley playing somewhere else soon. So it's something that's always been there, you know, and we want to see it. I kind of like that type of rivalry.
Yeah, I think it's great. And you know, I've always thought that Imperial Valley football is probably a lot more like Texas football in terms of the way the community engages and the community supports everything than we are like other parts of Southern California, or even, you know, our neighbor to the east, Yuma. And so I know that Texas football does not take losing lightly, and they sure as heck don't take losing to a California team lightly. And so they're wanting to come back and avenge that. And I have no doubt that our Spartans and Coach Pena are going to show them that it's hard to beat the Spartans in Texas, but it's much harder to beat them at Central Field with that great Spartan band playing and the crowd behind them. So I'm looking forward to that.
Coach, one of my last questions I got here. Let's say Central's playing for the city championship at Southwest. Which one of those hats are you going to wear to the game?
Well, you can see behind me, I've got both hats here. And I switch between the sidelines. I make it a point to go back and forth between the two. And like I said, I grew up rooting for Central. My grandfather, my uncle, you know, were Spartan captains. And so, you know, I think if you cut my left arm open, you'd find blue, white, and red bleeding out. And if you cut the other arm open, you'd find purple and gold. Nice. And so, and I feel unique because I played for both. And you know, really the last person or last group of people to have that experience, you know, switching from before there was no Southwest then over. And so I'm unique in that sense that I can do that. I'm proud to be the first graduate of Southwest High School elected to the board. But I'm very careful to switch between both sides and reserve my cheers depending on, you know, who's scoring the touchdown and so forth. So,
good one.
not an easy position.
That's a very good answer. You should run for office.
But when they're playing Brawley, it's easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, Rick,
real quick, Ron, can I ask you a question? I know you guys are the interviewers, but I ask you a question. Who has the bell right now?
Wait, we're off the air right now.
No, we just got unplugged. What do you say?
You know what? That's an easy question. You know what? And anybody from Brawley will tell you, and they'll stand up and said it, and they'll be glad to say, look, Central right now has the bell. And then they'll ask you, who's had the bell more times?
I know. My office manager is a Wildcat, so we go back and forth about this. Ron, just a little good-natured ribbing there. Sorry about that.
Nah, that's what makes everything so fun. That's what makes everything.
That's all we do all day. We do that
that's
all
what we really do all day. It is true. So, Ryan, we really do appreciate you filling in, but this was in the works. This was not one of those last-minute deals. It's just we had, you know, whatever it is. But
I appreciate it.
Well, did you even say what Ryan's doing and this and that? We just brought him on. I mean, does the public know who is Mr. Childers? What's he doing other than being a president of the school board?
You know what? I get really excited sometimes, Ron, and I jump straight into football, you know, and then like I start focusing on the hats and boom, you know, like boom, that I don't know what kicks in my brain, but I just start talking football right away. Sorry about that. Ryan, tell us a little bit how you got to the position that you're at right now as a board member. Like, give us a little bit of history, you know, after your high school days playing at Southwest High School.
Yeah, so after being at Southwest, I decided, you know, to hang it up in football and focus on academics. And so I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where I majored in accounting and graduated with a degree in accounting. And I was able to do that in 3 years. I think, you know, if I'd had my focus distracted, wouldn't have been able to do that. And then went right on into law school at the University of San Diego and graduated from law school at age 23 and took the bar, passed the first time, came home and worked for the DA's office as a prosecutor for a couple of years and then opened my own office. And so I'm the owner of Childers and Associates in El Centro, and we do primarily estate planning, probate, and business law, so helping out, you know, local families and businesses. And that's what I do during the day. And then, you know, in the evenings in my spare time, doing school board stuff, coaching my son's football team and My daughter was a Little Miss Cattle Call Queen this last year, and so drove her through some parades and all that kind of stuff. So I've been married to my wife, Allison, for 16 years, just doing the family thing, loving life, and proud to have decided to come back to the Valley. I think that's important. There's a lot of opportunity here, and I hope that more young people will realize that, and as they go off to get their education, they'll come back and contribute. So often I hear people say, oh, well, there's not this or that in the Valley. Well, and let's not complain about it. Let's come back and do something about it, right?
Exactly.
Let's make it the community we want to be, and let's raise our kids with those great experiences that we had and make it better. And so that's why I decided to come back and try and pay it forward. And I've been loving every minute of it, and the Valley's been very good to me.
Well, I actually saw he sent me his bio. Well, I requested his bio. Very impressive, Ron. One thing I did catch, you have a 12-year-old son. Is that correct, Ryan?
That's right, yeah. Where's he going to
William, yeah. Yeah, William. Where's he going to go to school at?
He's going to – we live in southwest geographic boundary, and so I don't want to, try and get favorites or anything like that. So he'll go where we live, which is Southwest High School.
Okay.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Although Coach Pena, he's a big boy for his age. He's pretty quick, and Coach Pena is very friendly every time he sees him. But I don't know if it's going to work or not.
See, this thing's recorded and it stays on there for a long time, right?
No comment.
Yeah, I would have stayed with who used that COVID-19? I'm gonna stick with the COVID-19 and not give an answer. Oh, that was Doug Klein on Tuesday night. So
I'll have to use that one.
Yeah, Ryan, once again, much appreciated you coming on here, getting to know you a little bit better. Hope our audience got to know you a little bit better. And I just got a note right now. This is our highest viewing episode of the evening. Coach,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, we've had a good previous guest on here, and our next guest will be Josh Wise. So. Ryan, we're going to talk later. We already, me and you talked that we're going to sit down and talk and have a little bit of lunch, and we're going to discuss some things that VSN has coming up. So Ron and I will get with you and we'll touch base later, man. It was a pleasure to get to know you better, and we wish you the best of luck.
All right, Will, Ron, thank you both. And again, appreciate everything you're doing for Valley Sports. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ron. Good hearing from you.
VSN will be right back with Josh Wise. Welcome back, everybody, to VSN Friday night. With me, of course, is my partner right here, Mr. Ron Rubio. And joining us for the third interview of the night is newly appointed AD of a very prestigious job, to tell you the truth. One of the most wanted jobs in Imperial Valley, big shoes to fill, from Sandy Nugent. She's done a great job, been there a long time, done great things. Joshua Wise.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And with that said, congratulations on that job, Josh. It's it's one of those jobs that it's good to see where you're at. Tell us a little bit. You were the AD in Calapat, and how long were you there at Calapat?
So I was in Calapat for 5 years. I remember when I got the phone call, John Self told me, head coach Brawley says, hey, Doug Klein gave me a phone call. He needs a coach. I said, well, I need a job. So Superintendent Calipatria, Doug Klein says, hey, man, I want you to come coach football for me. I have a PE job for you. I said, great. And I was excited. I took the opportunity. And Lord behold, 2 weeks later, I find out there's an athletic director position available. And I showed a little bit of interest. And, with the help of Billy Brewer and John Self and just their networking and them knowing me, I became athletic director before I even became a teacher at the high school. So as soon as I got into Calipatria, football coach, athletic director, and then I was teacher. So I had a lot of hats. I was doing a lot of things right away.
Hey, I'm gonna have Josh do my lottery numbers. Sounds like a pretty lucky guy there.
Well,
go ahead, Will.
I don't know if and I'm sure luck played into it, but there's one thing I did see about Josh. This kid has been working his butt off. I know that when we tried to, when we would give him a call for some VSN stuff going on over there, man, the first thing that come out of his mouth is, hey, what do you need? How can I help? In fact, Josh, we even did a game together. We broadcasted a Calapat football game together.
Right.
So it is true when you say you wear many hats down there.
That was fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, you were just one of those guys that really took your job to heart. You showed a lot of enthusiasm from what I saw. And, I see a lot of good things. In fact, not only do I, but people I've talked to when they said, when they mentioned that you had gotten that position, Josh, they actually said, what a go-getter. I mean, they're very proud of you. A lot of people are proud of you, Josh. So congratulations again, man. I mean, good for you.
It's a dream come true. It really is. I mean, when you make comments like that, and you're right. I've had a few people reach out to me like, wow, we're so happy you got the job. And till this day, I just want to make everybody proud. I'm going to come in here, get ready to go to work. And it's an exciting time.
Sure.
Well, Ron, he is kind of stepping in a good situation where he's at right now. Correct me, right, Ron?
Yeah. Well, sports-wise, Central's. I think Central's on a good. They're on a good path right now. I think all their teams are winning. Now, I'm gonna put my glasses on real quick. What kind of cap is that guy wearing? Oh, it don't have a C on there.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Right on. Good for you. Hey, well, let me tell you something. Just knowing you as a kid and everything, great timing in your life. You're at the right place, right time. But just as you mentioned, the networking, the Billy Brewers, the John Sells, the Doug Kleins, and if you weren't a good kid, a person of character, you wouldn't be at the place that you're at right now. So hats off to you. You're falling into good hands with Ricky Pena as on the football side of the deal. You have Ricky there. You played for him at Mayville, I believe, didn't you?
I did. Funny story real quick. When Ricky Pena was my football coach, he was also my professor. And the class that I took at Mayville State was a sports management class, athletic director class.
Right on.
And, he kind of gave me the roundabouts about what it's going to take to build the, certain people to talk to, how to make money, advertisements. And, here we are today.
No.
Hey, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And Josh, let me ask you real quick before I let you go to Will. What are the first things at hand you're taking care of at El Central right now, like today? Like what are you working on? Like what's the first thing that you hit the ground running? What is it that you got? What is it that you're doing?
The biggest thing is I just need to support my coaches, and I need to get on page with where the school wants. When I say what the school wants, I need to make sure I understand what they want from me. I need to understand the community. Like, first of all, the band's going to be huge. I need to know when they need something. I just got to make sure I'm there for everybody.
Right.
And these coaches, when they need something, I need to say, hey, okay, if I can help you, I'll help you. The biggest thing is understanding who I'm working with, let them make sure they understand who I am, and I need to be there for them. I mean, Central's set in stone. I don't need to help Rookie Pena. He just needs me to be there. I don't need to make the football team better. He's already got it going on. I know a few of the coaches here. They've been doing this for years. I'm just here to support them. My job is just to come in here and get to know people and just understand how the Central community works. That's number one. And that's all I'm trying to do right now. I mean, I'm still hired in the Central. I'm still employed. My contract's not up until the end of June, believe it or not. So my biggest thing is just get to know my coaches, some of the teachers, administrators, and especially the board members. And we had Ryan Childers up right now, and I got to get to know these guys and get on the good side. That's for sure.
Well, it sounds like you have a plan, Josh, and good luck, man. I'm real proud of you.
Yeah. Hey, Josh, I'm very impressed, man. You are saying all the correct things, man. You are running on all cylinders, Josh. I mean, to actually, remember you from a kid playing football and stuff, man. I mean, you're doing good, Josh. Here at VSN, we're really proud of you, man. It's good to see, hometown boy be in the position that you're at, man.
For sure.
And for us, we're just glad to see you succeed. It doesn't matter where it's at. We liked you when you were in Calapat. It didn't matter. We just saw you, you kept moving up levels. So, it's good to see that. And on a personal note, I'm glad I got to witness it. And, I still see a lot of good things coming your way, Josh.
Thanks, Will, man. I appreciate it. At the end of the day, I'm in this profession to help the community, but the biggest thing is the students, the student athletes. I mean, it's all for them. I hope we get fall sports for them. There's a lot of unknown gray areas right now, but the biggest thing is it's all about the kids. And, one day I hope they're in my shoes.
Yeah.
Succeed, working to make kids better and having good times the way I did. I mean, I'm telling you right now, this is my first time sitting at Cal Jones Field on the home side. I know it might be a little blurry, but
I see it. Bravo.
What do you got? What's going on right now?
Rookies practicing, I bet.
Oh, we got something
going
on.
Put that camera on the field. I see them warming up.
Hey, I'll tell you right now.
Call the police.
Social distancing. Definitely practicing that right now. We got a special event. They're having the light ceremony for just celebrating the students of the community of Central here. And, there's not a whole lot going on. And this is great to have these lights on. Just Friday nights. It's Friday night live.
Well, that was the whole
People
plan
pass
behind
by
it.
and they're missing Central football.
Yeah, that was the whole deal about having it on Friday. We wanted to end the night when it came to coaches on Friday as it would a Friday night. So, Josh, once again, congratulations from everybody here at VSN. And on a personal note, I'm very proud of you. I'm proud of you and your family that, Jeff, Rachel, brother and sister, I coach your brother and stuff. I mean, I'm sure everybody's thrilled, man. So congratulations once again, Josh. And so,
hey, thanks, guys, and keep up the good job. Looking forward to working with you guys. Looking forward to working with you guys throughout for the next 10, 15 years. Thanks, guys.
You got it, man. So we're going to take a very short break, and the show's about to start, Ron. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. This is what we've been waiting for. This is Friday night. Running a little bit late, but it's not going to be an issue. We had some good guests. We had Ryan Childers on earlier. We had the new addition to the Central Spartan family, Josh Wise, their new AD. And prior to them, we had Mr. John Seaman, head referee here in Imperial Valley. So we're going to end tonight. Word has it, Sarah and Joaquin are telling me Coach Self will be here after this interview. He's somehow ended a meeting, so we will get both coaches. But without further ado, I want to introduce Coach Rookie Peña. Thank you for being with us here tonight, Coach.
Thank you for having me on tonight. I figure in honor of Friday Night Lights and, obviously the Great Spartan Band, we know football will come back. It's a matter of when. I decided to come out to the football field and hit the Cal Jones lights. There's nothing better than that, and being on this field on a Friday night, no matter what time of year it is.
Hey, Coach, Ron and I are getting some chills just, seeing the green grass, the scoreboard light up. I mean, that's just like, that just gives you the ansias, let's get this thing going. Right now, I mean, it'd be spring ball right now, correct?
Yeah. Right now we'd be heading into practice 8. We'd be almost halfway done through spring ball. Unfortunately with the whole COVID-19, where we're at right now. But, again, we've been using technology and doing Zoom meetings and doing that. So that's been a great deal for us, and, we embrace challenges here at Central. Our students face challenges every day, and, we always have to adapt and overcome. And through the process, we'll do that.
Well, one of the things when you're saying adapt and overcome, you are going into your 5th year. Is that correct, Coach?
No, 4th year.
Okay, this is your 4th year. So talk about where Central was before you got here and where they are now. You're sitting in a pretty good seat there, Coach.
Well, you know what? I mean, here's the thing is Central was built long before I got here, under Cal Jones and the great players that played on this field. People have to realize that, you don't have to reinvent the wheel here at Central. The wheel was already invented with Coach Jones and past players that played here. So, again, whenever you coach here at Central, you understand that you're taking on something bigger than yourself. And you have to understand that you have to embrace what is here. And it's a great tradition here. Go along with the Great Spartan Band. I mean, there's nothing better. When you mention, Coach Jones, you got to mention Jimmy Cannon. And, obviously Miss Baker has done a tremendous job, following up Jimmy Cannon. And there's expectations, and I get it. When I took the job here, I get that there's expectations here. And luckily, very fortunately, I have a great coaching staff who has helped guide me through the process, because it is. I mean, it's, our coaching staff, they do a tremendous job, and they don't get enough credit between Brian Marr and Joey Den, Daniel Alecon. All those guys have done a tremendous job. If you go back to our first year with Anthony Lykos, Pete Blinko, that's, first coaching staff. But you got to understand that Central's even built before that. We have our freshman coach, Coach David Gloria. Yeah. You want to talk about, Mr. Spartan right there. He's Mr. Central, and, and he's had a great impact on that youth level, making sure that he brings them up from that freshman program, coming on through our JV program with Coach Bejano is being our JV coach, and then filter it through to the varsity. So, again, what we've been doing here is we've just been building on what's already here. And it's a process, and people have to understand it. It is a process, and I'm not worried about. I'm more worried about our kids, our coaching staff, making sure we have everything in order. And again, that's a testament to our coaching staff and what we've done, but also it's also a testament to this community. We have a great support system. We have great alumni who travel very well to our away games. We're very fortunate. Our away games are our home games. They are. And, we're one of the few schools where I can sit there and say, our away games, you might as well call them our home games. It's so much so that our fans have to sit on the home side because there's no seats on the away side. As some of you guys witnessed that last game versus Scripps Ranch. I mean, they had that deal reserved over there on the home side for us. So, again, that's a testament to this community and the support we get. And, as we talk about support, I also want to throw in a few things in there when we talk about support. again, I know we're going through this COVID-19, and I want to make sure that, we support some of our local restaurants who help us get to this point. Believe it or not, it's everybody. It's Junior's Cafe, it's Burgers and Beer, it's La Fonda, Sobeys, Los Cabos, all these local restaurants and the people, they invest in these kids, and a lot of them are alumni. And we thank them and for everything they do, like Grosso's Restaurant. I mean, they do a lot for us down there, So, again, us as a coaching staff, we understand that, when you coach here, you play here, you do it for something bigger than yourself. And we get it. It's a process. And again, we're very grateful. We get it. It's a community deal here. Our Great Spartan Band parents, you understand, without the parents of Great Spartan Band, it'd be tough, and they do a tremendous job behind the scenes that no one sees. I mean, our parents do a great job here at Central supporting us there that way as well.
Well, Coach, you mentioned that word process. When you mentioned the word process to me, I see contagious, because it's just, that whole community is just getting bigger. It's contagious. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. By the way, I just want to, your settings are beautiful right now, Rookie. I love seeing the green grass, the Cal Jones field sign, and that cap. The settings is great.
Support our people,
No, and you're exactly right. When this whole thing's opened up, it's a lot of people take pride, especially when they're family-owned restaurants and stuff like that support the community's Central Spartans, man. So, but still, Coach, congratulations to you, congratulations to the community, congratulations to the whole Central program. You throw in the band. You are very involved with the band. You guys are one when it comes to Friday night football fields. That's something that's just awesome to see.
Yeah, a lot of times when you mention, family and everything else, it's everybody. It's everybody coming together. Our kids understand this, that, we support the band, they support us. And our kids go out, and after every game, we'll go out, we go with the band, because, I'm not taking away anything from the crowd, but again, this is about the school and the community. But first we go celebrate with the band, because they put a tremendous amount of time in, and so do the band parents. They put a tremendous amount of time in with their children behind the scenes. And again, we want to make sure we celebrate with the band. That's what some people realize that Cal Jones and Jimmy Cannon were great friends, and they and on the field and off the field, and that has to come together. And me and Miss Baker, again, I'm very fortunate. Miss Baker's an awesome person to work with, and again, we embrace our band and everything that they do for us, on Friday nights. As I tell Miss Baker, you're a 12th man. Like I sit there and say, hey, go out there and play as loud as you want. Hey, we're no huddle offense. It don't bother us. We're out there. We do hand signals, so we're not worried about the noise or anything else like that.
Oh, heck, I think you embrace it. I got one question, and then Ron has a couple of questions for you. My one question is, who do you miss more, your kids or Joey Denton from the social distancing?
Of course, my kids at home, I got Ezekiel, Scooby-Doo came out tonight. So those guys are over there watching Scooby-Doo at home and watching VSN. So they got two TVs going on right now.
What about your football kids and Joey Denton? Which one do you miss the most, Coach?
Both of them. Hey, they all go hand in hand. They all go hand in hand. You know that?
I'm sure Joey's listening, so big shout out to Joey. Go ahead, Coach Ron.
Hey, well, Rookie, good seeing you again, son. What a lot of people don't know, or some people do know, Rookie's basically considered my nephew-in-law. So he's a good kid. Love the guy. Love his father, David. Now, we were just talking, Rookie. What I like what you're doing, son. What I like what's going on over there. You've embraced everything. You embraced everything in that community. You started with community, the band. You're talking about all the parents. You brought all these support in you to make one giant winning formula. So a very, very, very admirable job, Rookie. Keep the work up. Now back to the football field. Last time I saw you on the field, it was a tough night at Scripps Ranch. Where's your team going right now, Rookie? Like after that defeat, I know you. I know how you are. You're going to learn from that loss. What's the state of the Spartan football team right now?
You know, right now we're just focused on a whole new season. You know, again,
Right.
We do a good job. Our coaching staff do a good job, and our kids do a good job of understanding that. You know what? As long as we do our job, and we again, you know, coming from that game, we needed to do our assignments. That's what, you know. Again, our kids understand is we play assignment sound football. Now, hey, there's times we're going to face an opponent or someone, you know, one-on-one that's just better than us, or just made a better play. I get it, you know, and our kids understand that. But the one thing is, you know, we're assignment sound football, and our kids understand that from that game, from scripts matches, that we just have to make sure that we stay to our assignments, and we can't play outside of those assignments, you know. So that's the thing is, you know, that was a learning process as far as what Skip France gave us with their fits and the gaps they created. And, you know, coming off that game, we just got to be assignment sound football. You know, we understand that, hey, you know, we got to hold our gaps, and offensively, hey, we got to go ahead and make some throws. We got to go ahead and block a little bit better. We missed some assignments on the fronts and a little bit of confusion, but hey, we'll recover. We'll get better from it.
Well, it's a pretty good record you got going there with El Centro, rookie. The last 3 years you've been in the semifinals twice and the finals once. That if you're measuring success by playoff experiences or playoff games, you're at the top of the list. So that's good to hear, rookie. You're going to have a new quarterback this year. Did you have a lot of kids leaving your senior class? And if you had a lot of kids leaving, do you have kids to fill in the holes?
Yeah, you know, if you go with Turner offensively, I mean, offensively, you know, we lost, you know, Michael Sullivan, you know, at the wide receiver position. But again, you know, we have Fernando Morales, who's going to be a 3-year starter. Right. We have Marcus Moore, who's a sophomore last year. You know, he's up and coming, so he'll be a junior, you know, the following year or this upcoming year. You have Skylar Cook, who was a freshman who played, and so he'll be a sophomore next year. And hopefully we'll get a couple other guys to fill in there. You know, at the quarterback position, obviously, you know, De Niro's he's an awesome kid, great kid, and you know, it hurts to lose him. But again, you know, we had our backup quarterback actually transfer out, so we lost him. So right now we have open competition, but we did have another student that moved in our district in Jordan Reed. So again, he'll be competing for that starting quarterback position. Offensive line wise, you know, we're very fortunate. You know, we returned 3 guys, well, actually 4 guys with starting experience. So that will help out some things there that way. You know, our running backs, you know, it hurt graduating Angel and Jonathan Medina, but we do have Carlos Gomez who had a lot of game experience, you know, there that way. And defensively, you know, we lost, you know, 2 pieces to that, you know, with Angel Navas-Esparza, obviously, you know.
Yeah, stud.
Big monster, man.
You know, again, Michael Sullivan in the back half of things, but, you know, we return everyone up front, you know, for the most part. So, again, you know, our kids know this, so we're very humble. We know that, you know, we still have to prove ourselves. You know, as far as our kids are concerned, as far as I'm concerned, you know, Imperial, Brawley, they're all the front runners. You know, Imperial, you know, as I watched David Shaw last night talk, you know, he has a lot of guys returning, you know, and he, you know, he'll do a tremendous job down there. You know, so again, you know, Imperial is a very good team. You know, they got a lot of guys returning, and they have a dual threat kid with Ryan Bonias and Brawley, same thing, you know, with that freshman quarterback, you know. Again, you know, Coach South does a tremendous job down there. Right. And, you know, our kids understand that we have to continue to work, and it's a process. And as far as, you know, we're concerned, hey, you know, we're just battling, you know, with Coach Haynes. Coach Haynes does a tremendous job down there. He has his quarterback returning. You know, his quarterback's returning. He's got quite a bit of guys. And obviously with Calexico, they're going through that coaching change. But, you know, our kids know that, hey, you know, when you come here, you know, we understand it's a process, and, you know, we're going to face some very good competition here in the Valley.
Yeah, well, I was taking a peek at your schedule. You have a lot of big name teams coming your way, rookie. But listen, as a coach, looking at your cover, the cover's not empty. It sounds like you got a lot of guys coming back. So I think the sky's the limit for El Centro once again. Unfortunately, you're the monster. You're the big dog in the house right now. Looks like everybody's getting better, and that's a good thing. You know, there's a saying, it's harder to be better than the best. You know, it's an old football season, a whole old football saying. It's harder to be better than the best. You set that bar high, everybody's trying to get there. So the competition's there in the IBL, And I can't wait, chomping at the bit. I know you are, and I know your kids are. And congratulations on what you've been doing there, rookie. Keep up the good job. Keep Josh in check. And I think everything's going to go good, man. So good luck getting that locker room, and I hope everything goes good, Rick. I'm real proud of you, son. And maybe someday soon we'll have a carne asada here at my house. We'll get together before everything kicks off, man. So very proud of you, boy. Keep rolling, and take care of those kids you got at home.
Thank you.
You got it, man.
Rook, I got a couple more questions, and congratulations on landing Del Valle. I know that you were a big part of the negotiation because your schedule was already set. And it didn't work out earlier, but you somehow, even Childers, came on. You were part of landing that. Now, I personally, Ron does, and I'm sure everybody else in the Valley, what you're creating here is it's just going to be very popular. It's gonna catch on everywhere. That Texas California rivalry. Right. We went down there as of course VSN was down there, and just their hospitality. We've talked about this numerous times. The way Del Valle treated us, man, and it was just great, rookie. So congratulations on landing Del Valle. What was the process in that, rookie?
You know what? A lot of it just comes back to, me and Coach Cortez. Again, this year we just kept in close contact, calling each other, see how each other's doing and see how the programs are going. And, when he had reached out to me, he's actually reached out to me about, talking to me about another school, up in the LA area. And so, through that, I was like, hey, what week is it you have open? So, he told me the week, and I'm like, hey, you know what? That's our bye week. I think maybe we can make some things, move there. And he was just like, really, Coach, if you can get this going, I'd really like to play you guys again, because for them, it's easy drive. It's just right, the 10 to the 8, so it's a very easy drive. It takes about 10 hours, but hey, it's not too bad. Trust me, when you coach Division II and NAIA football for as long as I did, those road trips don't matter. Those road trips aren't too bad at all. So Coach Cortez was able to talk to AD, and luckily, I have great support here with Mr. Lyon, our school board, Miss Nugent, and they trust me, and they understand that hey, here at Central we want to give our kids the best experience. And, that's even thinking outside the box with our school board. As you heard Mr. Childers talk, about just, hey, let's get the kids experience, going to Texas. Some of our kids, that was their summer vacation.
Right.
And I'm glad to hear that, man. That's a very cool story right there. Just, Ryan was mentioning that you guys had talked about that traveling out of the state of California, traveling even out of the Valley, that was a first time for a lot of the kids, rookie.
Yeah. It's a tremendous, it's a reflection of our school board, and our school board, again, giving our kids that experience, because you gotta understand that to travel out of state, it's a process, and it's a paperwork process. And Dr. Andrews and our school board got together very quickly, met and approved it. So again, I thank them very much for giving us the opportunity to the kids, and then as well as Mr. Lyon and Miss Nugent. Again, there's not a better principal around Mr. Lyon, and he does a tremendous job here at Central, and does a tremendous job for our kids, and Miss Nugent and everything she's done. So, again, their experience is invaluable. And again, when it comes down to it, it's all about the kids and the community. And our school board gets it, our principal gets it, and our athletic director, and Miss Nugent, and as well as all our school administrators, Miss Petter and Miss Rodriguez.
Yeah, and you're very fortunate to have those people. Ron, as thrilled as I am to have Central playing Del Valle, there's a key. That date is key. Where most teams in Imperial Valley have a bye, Central is going to play them the week prior to the league opener. Their next game, which I know that Del Valle and that Central game is going to be a very physical game. Well, they got Imperial after that in Imperial. Now, I have no doubt Rookie and the Central Spartans will be prepared for that, but it's a different route that has been taken that usually is taken with a bye or a weaker team just so that you get everybody healthy. Is that correct, Rookie?
Yeah, that's correct. And, again, here at Central, when we saw the opportunity, even as I discussed with the coaching staff, we're all about giving the kids the experience and really just getting them to come on out and, hey, let's take on that challenge. Let's think outside the box. And, luckily, we have a group of coaches, group of administrators that do think outside the box and making sure that, hey, let's take a chance. Let's do something different.
Regardless of what that day, let's just do it. And we'll worry about, you worry about Del Valle that week, and then the next week you worry about Imperial, and then the week after that, you'll worry about Southwest. So you take it week by week. I love that. That just shows that you're throwing it out there. It's not going to let it get you. You're going to play who's the best team out there that's going to help your Central Spartans win, especially when the playoff time comes around.
Oh yeah, and hey, again, to get them to come here to Central and experience Central and experience that, the 12 man and a great Spartan band and the crowd, again, you're talking about great home field advantage there. I know we're very fortunate when we went down to Valle, we still had 200 fans go, and again, we feel very blessed there that way. But hey, bring the Valle down here and our crowd, our atmosphere, it'd be a great deal too.
Congratulations, because the schedule's not weak at all. You kick it off with Mount Carmel, then you got Palm Desert, Hill Ridge, and then you go to Christian and then Lincoln. So your schedule is not one bit weak. Now, the game you took out for Del Valle, that was against a Yuma school, correct?
That was versus Copa. We went ahead, and that was going to be week 2, and so we were able to go ahead and get out of the Copa game, and Copa was able to schedule another opponent. And we were able to go ahead and fill in that week 7 bye and still keep a 10-game schedule.
Well, we're going to end tonight the conversation, the interview with a big thank you, Rookie. We really appreciate what you, the community, Central Spartans, and your whole staff, especially your IT support and Sandy. What a blessing she was for us, and just really appreciate it from a VSN standpoint of view. We want to thank you, and we're the partnership that we have, it's going to get better and it's going to increase, and we see a lot of good things coming, Coach.
Oh, yeah, but before we go off here, I got a special guest for you. So I got a surprise announcement for you. So I'll let this person walk on real quick since we're practicing social distancing.
Well, this is a little bit odd. Oh my!
You've been mentioning my name and
all night long.
It's like you have me 6 feet under already, and Roses, stop! What's going on? I brought my Jeep so we could sit and go for a ride in my Jeep, and you haven't even called me. Will, what's up?
Sandy, I don't know. To tell you the truth, I really don't know how you feel. Because, look, Sandy, I was actually scared. I go, oh, my God, I got to deal with Sandy. Can I just talk to Rookie or somebody else? And then once I got to know you, Sandy, I go, please don't go. Please, Billy told me that you might be leaving. I was saying, oh, my God, I really like Sandy. I need her to stay. I don't like her.
Sandy don't go. It was like, okay, let me open the door. Sandy's out the gate. What's going on, man? I'm here. I put the lights in for you. I had a VIP parking for you. They can park our Jeeps together. And then we're talking.
Sandy, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate everything you did for me personally. I really do. Sandy, you are a legend down there. A legend. Not only are you in Central a legend, but also on the Over the Line tournament. And, I've seen the record books over there.
Oh, 4 world championships. Mr.
Yeah.
Didn't get to that last page.
No, Sandy, congratulations. Congratulations. I wouldn't even call it retirement, because I can bet anything I'm still going to see you out there.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere. But you already put me in the pasture, so I didn't know what was going on. You think the Del Valle game? I would never miss that.
No.
We played one game 2 games. I want to play Del Valle, and then we'll play Brawley. How about that?
Yes. Check this out, Sandy. Whatever it takes to get you on there, it worked, right?
Yes.
And, we wish you the best of luck. Like I said, this ain't going to be the last time we see you. I hope to see a lot of you. You were a blessing to us, to me, like I said, on a personal. And plus, not only that, man, you're a cool chick. You drive a Jeep, all right?
Right. I just wanted to make sure you had some kind of female interviewing, because, this is the Me Too movement, and I haven't seen any females on your list. So I don't want you to get in trouble with a Title IX issue or having all those crazy women that come after people that don't take care of the female aspect of it. So, I'm here and an athletic director, and I still got 2 more weeks of my tenure. So don't count me out yet. I'm still here, and I may give you a call on Wednesday with an announcement.
You know what?
Right.
I would appreciate that. And Sandy, don't forget, me and Billy were talking about that the ladies HOF, man. Remember we threw that out a little bit. It's something to think about. I really would like to get going, and you're the person to talk to about that. So
you know how to get a hold of me. If you lost my number, just call Rookie. He knows how to get a hold of me, or Craig. I'm still just right down the street. But you
no. I'll get a hold of you, because is your husband's tournament still in November? Has there been any changes to that?
It's probably going to be on hold because of this corona.
Oh, right.
Okay. Well, definitely, I'll be touching base with you on that, see what we can do and stuff like that.
You got it. And you take care.
Hey, Sandy, thanks for coming on, man. That's Sandy right there.
All right. Thanks.
See you later.
Yeah. Hey, Will, last I want to make sure that we thank all the youth football coaches. Thank you guys for the tremendous job you guys do. You guys understand that by you guys do what you guys do, gives back to those kids as they go through and they play on Friday nights, because Will and Ronnie, they're both youth coaches. They had a great impact on me, and many other kids that have come up, through the system. Today I was talking to a good friend of mine, Ramon Castro, and again, when we're talking today, we're talking about the youth coaches, and he was telling me, we were reminiscing about different coaches, and Ramon and us and guys from the projects and everything else there that way. They talked about how much you guys did for them. And you guys, youth coach, you guys don't realize what an impact you guys have on your community. And we understand that you guys are giving 100% of your time. And thank you guys for everything you guys do. If any youth coaches ever want to just talk X's and O's or just, talk philosophy, feel more than free to reach out to me, and, I'm always willing to talk football, and hey, we'll practice social distancing. We'll create a Zoom meeting and do that that way, guys. So, good. But again, thank you guys, thank you to every community who supports VSN. We got to support our local sponsorships, VSN and our restaurants and everything we have here in the Imperial Valley, because, we all take pride in where we're from. And this valley is very special to a lot of people. So thank you guys.
Hey, big shout out to your dad. Say hi to David for me, man.
Oh yeah, I will. Thank you guys.
All right. Good night. VSN will be right back with the legend, the icon, Mr. Brawley football himself, John Self. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being with us. epic interviews. It's been great. We just finished with Coach Rookie Pena. Before that, Josh Wise. And it was great seeing Sandy on there. Truly like her, man. Truly just great person. And then Ryan Childers before him, of course. And, of course, John Seaman. But we're fortunate. And, it's just a great thing. We have Coach John Self, of course. He's a Brawley head coach down here for the Brawley Wildcats. He's been down here, as Ronnie said, 100 years, I think. That's what Ron said earlier.
Wow, 100 years.
Just say it. We saved the best for last. Come on now, let's go.
All right.
He planned it out right.
Let's roll.
Well, one thing that I do want – one of the reasons that our schedule had changed, Coach Self had a meeting as the other Imperial Valley coaches, but Coach Self is a representative for the Imperial Valley League, and they had a CIF meeting today. So we decided that if he could get off early, we would put him at the end like that. So I'm gonna let John explain it because he was at that meeting and he's gonna let us know what's going on as football is concerned. John?
Thank you, Will and Ronnie, for having me on here tonight. I think the biggest thing that we can draw from the meeting tonight was the fact that all the coaches and CIF are working to try to figure out what the season could be, because obviously we don't know what's going to happen. Things change daily, but we're all in agreement. We want a season. We want to have playoffs, and we want the kids to get as many games as possible. Try to get a complete season no matter what. And I think that's the most positive thing that we got from it, because there's nobody saying we're going to cancel this, we're going to cancel that. We're going to figure it out, and whatever the start date is, we're going to work it out. And I think that's great for our kids, to be looking to have something to look forward to this year.
Good.
I think as of right now, like you said, things are changing, day by day, hour by hour, John. So, that's the best we could ask for right now. Personally, the way that you guys are keeping in communication with CIF and stuff like that, you've mentioned to me, you guys are having meetings, the administrators are having meetings, the ADs are having meetings, and everybody's on the same page to have this season start as close as they can to to our usual starting time.
Right.
So, those are what I believe that was a positive thing that came out of that. One of the things, John, I wanted to ask you, now, I know the history of John Self. Me and you, we've been friends a long time, even though you don't act that way when I ref some games, but we've been friends a long time. John, let some of the people, I know a lot of people know it, but let some other people who might not know it. What was your journey to get to where you're at right now as head coach for the Brawley Wildcats?
Well, it started about 91. No, actually about 90. Coach Bishop was at Calapat High School, and I needed a job. So I thought maybe I could scout. I had some experience playing high school football and college football, and Coach Bishop turned me away, and he told me, you got to go. I already got somebody. So I still needed money the next year, so I came back and asked Coach Bishop if I could scout for him, and he said, yeah, I guess we don't have anybody. You can do it. So I did it. And
just like that, too.
Yeah, just like that.
And you know where you get to now, huh, Ron?
Just like that. No, I know. I can hear John saying it. Go ahead, John.
So I ended up, after the first game, sending him about 5 pages of notes on the team,
Wow.
what I saw and what I thought would help him. And, after about, 5 games, we were going to Antelope Valley to scout them. And he asked me, do you think that we could coach together? And I said, Coach, I'm going to tell you the truth. I said, you and I have got about the same kind of personalities. I said, I think we can coach together, but we got to stand at opposite ends of the field. And for 18 years, we stood at opposite ends of the field because we were just like, we were fired up, both of us, all the time.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that intensity. You both wanted the same outcome, so that a positive side to that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think your emotions and your intensity for the game is the way your kids will play. If you're passionate, they're going to be passionate for it.
And you were the defensive coordinator for all those years, right?
Yes, I started 93 as a defensive coordinator at Calapat, and then The first year that we came to Brawley in '94, Bob Benson was the defensive coordinator, and then Bob had some job changes, and I got to be the defensive coordinator starting about '95 at Brawley. So I worked with John 17 years as a defensive coordinator, and in John's tenure at Brawley.
Right.
And that came about to where you are now as head coach. As how many years you've been here at Brawley now, John?
26 years.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Really,
a really good testament to that is, your partner, Ronnie, has been there the whole time. Rick, his nephew, has been there the whole time. Sheldon Schoonover's been there the whole time. And, just the consistency that we've had in our coaching staff. And then almost, I think every guy that we have on the coaching staff, except for me, is a Brawley graduate. And so that Brawley pride, that Brawley tradition, the sense of, we belong to the community and we play for the community just keeps going.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Well, just because you didn't graduate from here, nobody could ever tell the difference. You're not a Brawley guy there, though, Coach.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, it's not unique. I know it's happened before, but you've had this year the privilege of coaching, number 41 on your team. He moved up. He moved up as a sophomore, and to tell you the truth, he earned his way. He earned his way up there. I mean, I personally saw it myself. Nothing was given to him. What are some of the challenges, if you call them challenges or I call them challenges, whatever they are, coaching Chandler Self, your son, on the football team? This is going to be a senior year, John.
Yeah, well, obviously the challenge is not to be too hard on him. I mean, I'm gonna treat everybody the same, but sometimes you don't want to feel like anybody is seeing any favoritism with your kid, and then you got to turn around and look and say, hey, wait a minute, am I going too far here? I need to back up. So that's been the biggest challenge. And then, like you said, him being able to earn his way out there, and I wouldn't put him out there if he didn't earn his way, and I felt that he did. He was in a unique situation as a sophomore. Mm-hmm. We had only about 4 linebackers. Mm-hmm. And Chandler probably should have gone up and down on the JV and play down there and get some more experience. But he was our first backup at both inside and outside, so he had to stay there. And he got a baptism under fire. I mean, he got stuck into some games that he probably wasn't ready, but he stepped up and played real well. And that was surprising.
One thing we haven't talked about that, I mean, obviously – Chandler has it hard. My dad's a coach. You have that cloud, that black cloud. Okay, you're doing this because your dad's a head coach. But I personally saw that, and like I said earlier, that's not the case. So I mean, it is what it is. You guys have done a great job doing it. But what about from your wife's side, Dina's side? How's the feedback you get from her? I mean, her son, her oldest son, her firstborn, is out there on the field. And then you're out here coaching. So what's her feelings like, John?
I think she really enjoys it, and sometimes when she takes pictures, there's a couple more pictures of 41 than there probably should be. We spread them out to the team. One thing that just kind of reminds me of it is my mom takes pictures at the games too. And we were playing Indio, Chandler's sophomore year. And the snap went over the quarterback's head, and he scooped it and went for a touchdown. And I could hear my wife and my mom on the sideline screaming, "Go Chandler, go!" So that was kind of cool. They got to experience that.
Well, they were probably running down pass out of the coach's box all the way to the goal line. Am I correct?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, and don't forget and I was in the booth with your old man, and man, I never seen old man Self jump so high. I thought he was going to jump out of the booth. Is that Chandler? Is that Channy? Yeah, it's Channy. That was a cool night, and I remember that play, John. And just to back up that story about Chandler being the coach's son, how Chandler beat that? Well, not stigma, but you saying having the pressure of being the coach's son. Where Chandler eliminate all that is by his play on the field and the way he practices football. He's just a football player. He's just a football playing kid, and he earned his role, just like John said. Yeah, you could be the coach's son, but if you can't play like a football player and do the job that's being asked of you, it's nothing. But Chandler has earned his spot, man. So kudos to John Self and to Chandler Self. Good job.
And Dina.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Dina, for sure.
We know poor Dina.
Sure.
We know poor
For
Dina.
sure.
Yep.
No, I think it's a wonderful combination, and I'm happy for you, John. I'm happy we've talked about this on the sidelines on Tuesday nights. We've talked about that, and there's a lot of sense of proud, besides you being the head football coach of the Brawley Wildcats, some of the things that you're doing in there, you're very proud of, the things that you've instilled in the program. You've created history here. You've set the foundation, and you've also set the bar high. So those are a lot of things that a lot of credit goes to you and to your coaching staff and to the administrators that have been backing you up to be where you're at right now, to have the Brawley Wildcats be where they're at right now.
Absolutely. Without the school board, without our superintendent Simon Canales and our principal Jesse Sanchez and obviously Billy Brewer, he's won athletic director awards. He is that good, and he keeps us going and keeps our teams going. But one thing about, like you brought up Chandler, but the resiliency of these kids, with all this going on, they have. Well, I feel this senior class is just a great senior class, and these guys are working so hard right now, and they're doing stuff on their own, as far as trying to take care of meetings, workouts, challenge workouts, and they're trying to build that continuity that they need with the younger kids coming up from the JV to have that program off and running as the day that they tell us we can start.
Yeah, and I'm sure that as soon as they blow that whistle and they say you're ready to start, I mean, you and everybody else, their wheels are already going to be spinning, just burning some rubber on that grass out there. So,
absolutely.
One of the other things, Brawley Wildcats, Ron, we were talking about this earlier, is that they left you in Division III. We saw Central move up to Division II. In your opinion, and well, look, it does. In my opinion, I believe that's a true place where the Wildcats should be placed at. Your thinking on that, John?
No, yeah, in honesty, probably Central still belongs in Division III. Coach Pena and I have talked about it. Division II is very tough, and we spent probably 4 years in Division II.
Yeah.
And we had very competitive teams, and we did real well. And we won a league championship, won the bell game, go to the playoffs, and we found ourselves by the time we got to the quarterfinal rounds, we weren't competitive anymore. And it wasn't that the kids weren't ready to play. It wasn't that the kids didn't want to play. We just at times got outsized and out athlete.
You get beat up. I mean, you're playing a tough schedule. You get beat up.
And something that's kind of another thing to look at. 1 year we made it to the semifinals. We lost to Madison. Madison goes and wins the state championship.
Right.
And then I think 2014 we lost to El Cap, and El Cap lost the state championship by 7 points. So we were playing some good teams.
Yeah. And now that you're mentioning playoffs, we know what happened at the Bell game. But, John, to see a team and make a playoff run, Ronnie, correct me if I'm wrong, if there wasn't emotions coming out of the mics from you and I, John, I mean, credit to you, credit to the Wildcats. Once again, what was said, what was done, John, to come back after that last season against the Central Spartans and turn everything around? And, John, against La Jolla, which will be playing the first game of the season, against La Jolla, you played them for 48 minutes. You were ahead. That game was won for 47 and a half minutes, man. They won that game. The only game they won was the last 30 seconds, and it did happen to come it. But what was said and what was done and what happened, John? What was that whole turnabout about?
I don't think it was just that week or the turnaround right there. That was a whole season of building, and like it's been mentioned, it's a process. We start off the season and, we lost our returning senior quarterback. He broke his ankle. So, then we went to another guy that quarterback, but we found that, okay, this freshman might be ready. So we bring him in. And, we had some, rough starts at the beginning of the season, but we just kept building on it. and the kids kept getting better and finding out more about each other and what they were made of. And, you know, we took a tough loss in that Bell game because we weren't ready for that big of a stage. A lot of the kids, you know, they just, you know, you can tell them how big it is, but till they step out there and look at all those people, that's when, you know, then it becomes real. And I think with the support of the families and the community, you know, they picked those kids up afterwards and they told them, hey, you guys played hard. You guys, you know, they didn't quit. I can tell you that. And we got ready for that next week of practice. And I said, hey guys, we're in the playoffs. We can make a run at this. And I said, you guys are good enough to win this. And I think that they all believed in the coaching staff. They believed in each other. And we said, hey, you know what? All we can do is practice today and play on Friday. And that's all you got for sure.
Well, John, that Tuesday after the Bell game, that was your attitude. I go, oh my God, you know what? I went to go talk to you, you know, the following Tuesday after the Bell game. And I go, okay, you know, I happened to ask Marshall, hey, what kind of mood is he in, you know? And Marshall said, oh, he's in a good mood. And I go, okay, you know, just kind of surprising. But that's the attitude I got from you that Tuesday. I go, you know, hey, we're in the playoffs. What more do you want? We're going to come out here. And you had that type of attitude. And you told me the same thing that Tuesday. You told me the same thing you mentioned right now, that, hey, Will, we got a shot at winning this. That was your mentality. I just think it's freaking awesome. And then it just kept getting better and better and better. You know, I mean, that last game against La Jolla, I mean, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, to come back like that and to finish out your season like that, it's just like, once again, I was talking about earlier, the bar you set is pretty darn high, John.
It was a you know, that game was a lot, not just that game, but even the Hilltop game. You know, the kids fed off the you know, Brawley crowd coming in there rooting for us, and you know, the kids just fight, and you know, they don't want to let the community down, because it's all about Brawley. It's not about us as individuals. It's about the community of Brawley and doing the best that we can for the community and the school.
Yeah.
Hey, well, let me jump in real quick, Will. The week of the Kearney game, right on the Monday practice, I went up to John and I told John, I said, John, I think we could beat these guys, Kearney. You know, I think we could whoop them. And John goes, Ron, we could go all the way. That was John's immediate response. We could go all the way. And what the credit I liked about the kids, John, what I liked, we got behind Kearney by what was it, 25 points or 15? Whatever it was, 21. We had a major comeback to win that 21 point deficit. Will Brawley comes back, boom.
Well,
emotional.
I mean, when Kearney got up on us in that game, you know, we were down like 14-7, and there was kids coming into the huddle on the kickoff telling them, keep your head up, we're going to be fine, and we're going to send these guys on a long bus ride home. And, you know, I think right before the half, I mean, the plays, they broke some big plays on us, and some of the kids were not sure, you know, were a little unsure about from the previous week, but they kept telling each other, we're going to be fine, we're going to be fine. And the coaching staff's telling them the same thing, guys, just got to execute, we'll do right. So then to right before the half, completing 2 long passes and getting down there and scoring and turning it into, you know, a 15-point ball game, coming in at halftime and explaining to them, guys, 15-point ball game, all we need to do is score. And then we come out and we score on the first play of the second half. Now it's an 8-point ball game. And you just see the emotion just come up, and the other, you know, Kearney didn't know what to do at that point.
No, they didn't know what to do. And then turn to the flip side, the second week we go to Hilltop. What happens? Gutierrez busts a big run. We get on the scoreboard right away. And I think, you know, us Brawley hitting them with lightning strikes really, because we were behind the Hilltop sidelines. And I was looking at the demeanor. It's like they didn't know what hit them. They're going, what? This little Mexican freshman kid's doing this to us? And boom. I mean, it was just an amazing ride, the playoff for the 3 games, John.
Hilltop was the number 2 seed, and we had to go to their place.
Exactly, right.
And, you know, they honestly, that was a super tough physical game because they were a no huddle team that ran the ball.
Yes, sir.
And they started moving the ball on us because honestly we got tired, late in the game but the kids sucked it up. I mean, and just kept tackling them and we knocked out a couple of their running backs. Not that we're
Exactly.
we hit them good. And then we had some clutch things that we'd been working on our PATs and stuff. And we go kick a 37-yarder to take the lead. They go back down the field and they miss.
Yeah. Hey, but that's one thing too. I mean, it was emotional. The playoff run was emotional. The resilience of the kids showed, John, and I was very proud for you and the staff. We've never been so proud of a Brawley team. It's been a while, but that was one great playoff run, and now we're moving on to 2020. What do you see? How do you see your team right now? I know through COVID and all that, but if we were to play tomorrow, what would you see in the Brawley football team?
I think you're going to see a mixture of some veterans, and then you're going to see some youth. We got 3 offensive linemen coming back, a quarterback. We got some receivers coming back, tight ends. We're getting a running back coming up from the JV, some experience there. And, defensively, we got 3 out of our 4 linebackers coming back, 1 D lineman, but we're replacing a lot of defensive backs. So I think it's going to be another building process of something that we need to, stay the course with and work hard with the kids. And as they understand what to do, they'll become more confident and they'll become better players for us.
Well, a typical Brawley football year. There you go.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say right now. That philosophy that John has right now, I mean, it just doesn't change. I mean, in true honesty, talking to coaches before they came on the air, John, there's no when they mention Brawley or we talk about Brawley, you're still the big dog on the block. I mean, they've shown so much respect, for you personally. To be honest with you, it doesn't matter where you're at, what position you're at, John, or what year it is in football season. They know that when they're playing Brawley and you're behind there as their head coach, they're going to be in a damn ball game. I mean, that's the mentality that the rest of the IB coaches have, and I'm going to have to agree with that, John. I mean, Brawley's never going to be a pushover,
Well, thank you. I don't know if I'm the big dog. I just know I'm the oldest dog now.
Yeah.
The one that's been here the longest.
Right.
Well, that might be correct, but still, there's a lot of respect for the Brawley Wildcats and John Self. That's for sure, from among your peers, and these are people that are football intelligence, in my opinion, that I respect, and and I tend to agree with them on that, John.
Well, thank you.
And on behalf of Brawley community, on behalf of VSN, we'd like to appreciate everything you've done for us, of course, and giving us a little look behind the scenes and giving us the opportunity to create some fantastic videos by Jonathan and Joaquin to promote these kids coming out of high school. So we really appreciate you and the rest of the coaches. And like I said before, we hope to continue it, man. I mean, I think we're all going in the right direction. I like the support that we're getting from you and the rest of the community and the ADs, Billy, Vic, and Lorena this year down there in Calexico. And then, can't say enough about CJ Turner and support they've given us down in Hopeville also too. But, and then Josh Wise now, what do you, I mean, that, we're happy for Josh, and I'm sure you're happy. He mentioned you. Some of the credit that he went over there came, because of you. So,
Right.
Congratulations to him on that part.
Well, Josh was coaching with me before he went to Mayville, and I was very proud of him to be able to take off and go up to Mayville and play some football. And I think he did play football so that he could go to school.
Right.
And then he came back, and some of these offers came up, and I said, Josh, you're not going to get these offers forever. You better take them. Because we don't. One thing that's kind of consistent about the Valley is that we are consistent. It's a lot of the same people staying in the jobs, taking care of the kids, doing the right things, and so if a job comes open, you got to take it.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, good for him. So, John, thank you for the information that you gathered to inform the people, which is, letting the people know that, you're still having the meetings. Nothing's set in stone. I know you guys have talked in scenarios, and it's not even worth going into scenarios because somebody, we don't want things to get out there like, oh, well, I heard it's, a certain date or something like that. So I'm sure you'll keep us posted so we can relay the message and stuff, that needs to be said and things that need to be done so that the word gets out there and the season gets started on time.
Absolutely.
So with that, thank you tonight was just a fabulous, great night, man. I appreciate you making time to be here, John.
Right on.
Thank you, John. We'll see you later, buddy.
All right, take care. Go Wildcats.
Go Wildcats,
All
baby.
right,
Right.
Before I go, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us these last couple of nights. We ended up on Friday, started on Tuesday. Ron and I have had a blast doing this. I mean, it's a first-time deal. We've really had a good time. Me and Ron enjoyed it, and we enjoyed talking to the coaches and ADs. Ron, any last thoughts for you?
No, well, like I said, not save the best for last, man. We ended the night with rookie or David Pena and John Self. Can't ask for anything more. We did the who's who of Imperial Valley football, and like I said, let's just see where this takes us. Everybody's itching at chomping at the bit to get back on the field, and that's what we want to do. All the information relayed by all these people were very informative. So I think the public is ready to go. We're ready to roll, and let's see where this takes us.
Yeah, so good words from Ron Rubio. So once again, from VSN, I'm Will Torres, my partner, Ron Rubio. And we'd also like to, none of this would have happened if it wasn't for Joaquin Matus. I mean, he's really, as Ron knows.
He's the brains of the operation, pure and simple. Let's just
put it that way, man.
If
it wasn't for Joaquin and John, actually, John's been trying to hire him from Brawley down there,
Heck yeah. I'm going to pay him. I'm going to pay him a lot.
All right, man.
Because he knows what Joaquin's value to VSN is. So, none of that could be done without Van. So not only that, so we appreciate everybody tuning in and see you guys soon. So from Will Torres, Ron Rubio, John Self, and the rest of the coaching from Imperial Valley, good night.
Later.